Yo, what up? Oh boy, sorry I started late. I'm gonna turn this volume down a little bit. There we go. Looked like I was peeking for a second. What's up, everybody? Yeah, sorry for starting late. I was scrambling to get a bunch of screenshots. Also, right before we jump into it, wanted to see if I could change. You cannot change these settings while you're live. All right, JK. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not streaming in 1080p, but that's okay. So, hope everybody's doing well. Let's see who we got here. We're starting a bunch of screenshots. Oh, whoops. Also, I apparently had the volume clicked, and when I was moving my mouse, it was moving it up and down on the live dashboard. Let's see who we got here. Who we got watching the stream? We got Hey You. We got Siegfried. We got Moa. What up? JJ. Blacklist Hunter. Jutopa and Pika Boy. That was much earlier. Hopefully you all are back. Ultima Omni V. What up? Resonance with the sneeze dab. Alright, so kind of what I want to do now that we have caught up. What up, Ma? Killer. Hey, hey. So now that we've caught up with all the chapters since I have returned, we've done the chapter reactions. I kind of want to delve into some topics that I was writing about a while ago before I left YouTube. Want to start talking about some new topics as well as I do more research on the current arc and refresh my memory on a million things. Thank you to those who reached out on Twitter or sent me stuff on Reddit. I appreciate it very much. Jutopa's still here. Nice, nice. Watching from my Switch. That's pretty dope. Abram's here. Steve Nato, what up? KZ Kanmuru. Oh, I think I missed Eric, Leah, John. What up? Gone Freaks is here. Nice. Let me close my door. I always forget to do this. The air conditioning is super loud. Kind of dark in here too. Let's get some lights. Ugh. Ooh, that make my forehead look shiny. That's okay. Ooh, when we lean back, it's nice. See all the volumes I got here? I was trying to get some screenshots. Ended up taking a few online. Just like Googling the chapters. But anywho, I'm ready to do this. So, kind of what I want to do is start off by talking about the topic, and then we'll just kind of, after the topic is done, or maybe interspersed throughout the topic, I'll be talking to the chat. You know, didn't write out a script for these, so it's definitely different than previous videos. But writing scripts is hard and takes me a long time. It's hard for me, at least. And part of me returning was under the condition that, you know, you're probably not going to get videos like the Gone and Meruem parallel journeys, which took me like weeks and weeks to make. So, you know, anyways, that's how it's going to be. But at least I'm still doing stuff, you know? So here we go. Blair, never knew you were back until now. Well, I'm back. I keep looking over there, but I have the chat over here as well. You mentioned streaming on Twitch last time. What's your channel name so I could follow? Pika Boy, I appreciate you asking that, because the past few streams I've been shouting it out. And also, yeah, so right after this might be a shorter stream. The last couple were like 2 hours. I don't know how quickly I'm going to be able to breeze through all this stuff that I set up. It might be like 10 minutes. I don't know. But yeah, it might be quick. So after this, I am going to jump over to Twitch and stream some Yakuza 0. Right after this, haven't played it before, so I'll be starting fresh. And I'm going to try and pop onto Twitch and play every few days, you know. If I'm having a bad, not a bad day, but I'm tired from work during the weekdays because I work Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday right now, I probably won't stream, but I will try if I have the energy on weekdays. So that way it's like I'm on here once a week on YouTube talking about Hunter x Hunter, and then we're on Twitch maybe 2-3 times a week playing some video games. But I just dropped the Twitch channel in the chat. So after this stream, we're going to jump over to Twitch. So let's start it off. All right, we all ready to go? Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Chosen One, is here too. Of course, Siegfried Kyle Brown, welcome back. Rhodia Creed, welcome back. Guys, let's jump into it. Topic of the week. It's kind of like 3 topics, but really the topic is kind of the mysteries of Hunter x Hunter, right? Things that we don't know 100% about. Tycho in the chat, welcome. Hell yeah, video games. Hey you and KZ, thank you for letting me know there is no audio. I am an idiot. God damn it. Alright, 2 seconds. I gotta add some audio. Oh, damn it. Alright. 1 second. Okay, I have added audio to this page. I have 2 more pages to add it to. I am very sorry. Alright, y'all. I fixed it. We're good. I thought we were just doing like a pause for dramatic effect. I was on board until the screen started switching. All right, I need to test the audio 3 times. Okay? We're going to do a little test real quick. Okay, now that I have switched screens, if you can hear me, type 1 into the chat. The number 1. Just the number 1 would be wonderful. And then when I switch again to this screen, to the Game Master screen, type the number 2 if you can hear me. And then when I switch to this third one, just give me a number 3, please. Those are my 3 tests. All right, I got 1. Boom, I'm seeing a 2. Nice. I'm like 30 seconds ahead of you guys, unfortunately. So you're going to see a tiny delay. Boom, and the 3. Beautiful. We're all set. All right. So, 14 minutes in, we've botched a lot of this. Ooh, I got bags under my eyes. But now we're ready to go. Thank you all for the responses. Working through this together, the Hunter Association. All right, here we go. Let's get serious. Ugh. All right. So the topic for this week is the mysteries of Hunter x Hunter. I've got 3 of them that I want to talk about. Some I have guesses on. A lot of this we don't have the right info we need, you know. But we're going to talk about 3 different things. The first one I want to start with is Greed Island. And specifically about Greed Island, we're talking about the game masters that we no longer, or that not that we no longer, the game masters we don't know about. So when Gon meets List and Dune, they mention that Greed Island, the name, comes from the first name, the first initial of the first name of the people who created it. So we're missing I-S-A-N, and down here, the D. So who are these people? Who could they possibly be? Before we dive into I and S, which I think are the most interesting ones, I couldn't find anyone with a name, first name, from Hunter x Hunter whose name begins with A. Unless you're counting the phonetic spelling or the katakana used for Netero. Because it is Aiziku Netero. But number 1, the reason why we don't want to use the katakana spelling is because, as we could see with List, his katakana starts with an R. Risuto. Risto. Right? So we're not using that. We won't eliminate Netero as a candidate for I yet, though. But we are definitely eliminating him for A. So, when it comes to N, there is only one person. However, that is also another case of using the katakana compared to, I guess, the standard. I don't know what you would call this, but how his name is spelled, like in the English volumes. I don't know if we've ever seen it like this in the manga, but really, we're not going with this spelling, okay? However, his ability would be helpful in the way that, he just can create a parallel universe. Granted, we know Greed Island is a real island, but could help with the teleportation aspect of getting to Greed Island, as well as, what was the other thing I was going to say? Getting to Greed Island, as well as the abilities they use to, follow each other, and fly around like Dragon Ball Z style. His ability could potentially help with that. However, I doubt he was involved. And, once again, letter N is really only in his katakana, not here. So we'll eliminate Nulv. So really, we don't know A, We don't know N. There are no candidates for them. The only candidate for D that I could find would be Doan Freaks. But we know that ain't happening. Jing Freaks is chasing after Doan Freaks, kinda. But yeah, we know that Doan Freaks didn't help Jing create Greed Island. So these are the two most interesting ones. For I, we could have three people. We could have Isaac Netero. We could have Izunavi. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned, or I did mention, but didn't realize that my microphone wasn't working when I was switching around, but I am on hunterxhunter.fandom.com. I'm on their wiki page. So the information on this website, collaboration of many, many people. And when I get to one theory, I will explain to you that, it was not something I came up with, but thought it was interesting for us to discuss. Because I always want to give credit where credit is due. Razor didn't say he used the emitter spells and teleport. Not 100% sure. Down here it does explain he's in charge of emissive systems within the game, which makes most of the spell cards work properly. So most likely you're right. So thank you for that, Killer92. As far as the transportation to Greed Island, that could technically still be Nov. But honestly, I doubt Nov is involved. So we're not going to dive into him. However, Izunavi, we know nothing about his ability. It's never been referenced that he has any connection to Jing. And he didn't even have a name until the most recent arc. His name was unknown. He only had a name, as you can see down here. Whoop, too far. Advertisement for cats. His Japanese voice actor... Nope, not one. Trivia, here we go. In 2011 series, his name is Mizuken, which is interesting. But yeah, he did not have a name in the manga until chapter 350. But we don't know anything about him, so there isn't really anything that we can speculate, other than he's most likely a very strong hunter. He helped Kurapika develop his Hatsu, and Kurapika clearly trusts him enough to ask him to be involved in the Dark Continent, or in the Succession War. But we don't know enough to speculate. We're going to get rid of Izunavi. Isaac Netero. Highly doubt he was involved. Though he does have a great relationship, or not a great he has a relationship with Jing. But I can't imagine him spending time on making a game, right? We've seen the kind of person Netero is and the strength that he is after. I can't imagine that this kind of game would help him in his goal in seeking that strength, or even really something to distract him and have some fun with, Highly doubt it. So, as a lot of you were already saying in chat, that brings us to Ikshampe Katocha. Why is his name so hard? Because now I have to talk about this dude for a little bit. So he is a hacker hunter, single star hunter. So we know he's up there, he's strong. He also makes comments about being in the digital world, right? So by the way, like I said earlier, this page, not written by me. This is not a theory I created. I just wanted to discuss it with you all. He is claimed to be a resident of the digital world. What's nice about hunterxhunter.fandom.com is they provide you references, so you can go pop those open yourself. So you can go check out chapter 326 for this. Despite expected, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, digital world, you would think, oh, video games, right? So that part matches up. He also has some sort of relationship with Jing because he sends him a message during the election arc. Where's that exact sentence? He holds up a sign that says he wants to trade something. So right here, the glorious white spear for the holy gold flag, implying he knows Jing. So it kind of sounds like a video game thing, but it also could just be, you know, real stuff. But just the reference to this guy being, you know, I'm in the digital world, matches with video games. He has a relationship with Jing, it appears. And then the final thing, also, remember, not something that I discovered. Oh, you know what? I saved a ton of pictures for this, and I'm not even showing them. But it's the item shop down here, right? Let's make that a little bigger. So this is the item shop in Masadora, and looks a lot like this guy. Let's take a look and compare. We got the two bulbs on the top of his head. You got the eyes, both going in different directions. Granted, teeth here are flat and his are kind of sharp, but it's like, look, we got the little roundish head. So that's where this theory comes from. I'm not the one coming up with this theory, this part of it, right? But in my opinion, compared to Izunave and Isaac Netero, I think your biggest shot is this dude right here. However, there is one letter that we haven't talked about yet. Let's bring back this page. Boop. There we go. So, we know there are no candidates for A or N. Our most likely candidate here is Ixchampe. There are no characters besides Don Freaks with the letter D. So our final one is S. So who are our candidates there? We have a few. Let me pull up my notes. I'm not going to put them on screen. But there's going to be a few characters that I just don't show you, right? So we have Sired. He is the dude on the boat to the Dark Continent who was attacked by Nenbis, and Kurapika, you know, took his ability. The first time that we saw Dolphin-san. His ability is to take over the body of an animal, right? Like a small one. We can eliminate him pretty quickly from the S category. We also have Satotes. Maybe I should pull these people up. I'll do that for you, because I love you guys. Satotes. No, didn't mean to do that. Let's do it here. Let's go. We're going to scroll up. We're going to go to characters. We're going to open new tab. Okay, then we're going to scroll back down here because I like this screen. Then we're going to click over here. And then we're just going to do a little search for Satotes. Bam. Totally spelled that wrong. Bam. This dude right here, right? We meet him at the very beginning of Hunter x Hunter. However, he does say that he has never met Jing. He's never met him. He talks to Gon about him, but he never has actually met Jing. So highly doubt he was involved. So we can eliminate Satotes as well. The next candidate, and by the way, I literally just went through like the characters page, and I just kept scrolling and scrolling and looking for characters whose names, ooh, spoiler alert, whose names began with these letters. So that's kind of like how I found these candidates. Yes, for those who just joined, we're talking about the potential other people, the other game masters who could have helped Jing create Greed Island. Okay, so who else we got? Where the hell did my notes go? We have, let's pull them up because I didn't do that again. We have Sayu. Sayu, part of the Zodiac, has a relationship with Jing, doesn't like him. Highly doubt he would want to work with Jing. He is not afraid of saying unkind and rude things about two powerful fellow Zodiac members like Jing and Periston while publicly challenging the former, which is Jing. So not a great relationship. Obi-Wan Kenobi, yes. Razor helped create the cards. It's because of his emission abilities that a lot of the cards work in the game. So just based on the way that Sayu interacts with Jing, I would doubt that he would work with him on this game. Also, his ability is, well, he is a blacklist hunter, so being involved in the game probably does not help him in that profession as a blacklist hunter. I believe he is part of the... What squad is he a part of? I do a Control F for team. He's part of the defense team. Oh, it was right up there at the top. He is part of the defense team created in preparation for the voyage to the Dark Continent. He is also in cahoots with Periston to free Beyond. Most likely another reason we can rule him out. Next one we got. We have two more. We're going to eliminate Sayu. And close that one. We've got Sacho. Sacho Kobayakawa. Kobayakawa. Another person who does have a relationship with Jing, as he's part of the Zodiacs. He's part of the intelligence team. He is a problem hunter, which is never really defined, as far as I remember. So I would say this doesn't necessarily rule him out. When you search for his relationship with Jing... Whoa, totally spelled that wrong. Boop, boop, boop. They summon beings to draw a lottery. Yeah. As Jing creates the rules for the election, since he was kind of chosen, it says here, Sancho is among the Zodiacs that chastise Jing for retracting the rule so easily. So at least small hint of possibly not getting along with Jing, but not necessarily ruling him out. Probably could have done more research on this one, to be honest. But I picked him up last minute. So I would say it's a possibility, right? As a problem hunter, doesn't really rule him out. Has a relationship with Jing, but really, we just don't have enough information. So here's my submission for who could possibly be S. And that is Sanbika Norton. She's a single-star virus hunter, the lead doctor of the Hunter Association. And one of the reasons I think it could possibly be her is, as a doctor, virus hunter, most likely, creating antidotes, things like that. But as just a doctor in general, she could possibly be responsible for healing spells that are in Greed Island. We don't know her relationship with Jing. It is not mentioned. Jing is not mentioned anywhere here. I don't have any recollection of her mentioning Jing. We know that she is a highly respected hunter just because of how far she made it into the election. So at one point she ties for 8th, 11th during the first round. Second round, ties for 8th. So clearly a respected hunter. Based on her profession of being the lead doctor of the Hunter Association, it could possibly be in her interest to help Jing just to make sure that whatever he is up to is not going to get people hurt. Her personality in general, timid and insecure to the point she stammers when speaking. Although she did not wish to become chairman due to her hating being in the spotlight, she thanked her supporters for their votes. Despite her lacking confidence, she is excellent in her field of competence. So, what do we do with this info? Who are the kind of people that get along with Jing? Well, you got Razor, who kind of just respects him. Razor's a badass. He helped Razor when things were bad for Razor. But we know that Jing takes care of the people that he surrounds himself with. Even though what we see from him and what we hear about him seem to be very different things. But, when he did his excavation of the ruins, like the restoration project that he did, he said that one of the most valuable things is just like the faces on everybody and the team he worked with, So he is a team player. I could see him having a positive impact on someone with this personality who is timid and insecure, stammering when she speaks, lacking self-confidence. I think someone like Jing can get along with someone like that. But also try to boost them up, right? Like, hey, Sambika, you're a single-star hunter for a reason. You're the head doctor of the association. I need your help. I can't do it without you, right? I could see him convincing her to help out. We got some interesting discussion in the chat. So I do want to talk to you guys a little bit just about this proposition here, Sanbika, or any other ideas that you guys have before we go on to, I have 2 more topics, separate topics to discuss. So basically what we're talking about here is that we don't have anyone we could select for A, for N, for D. Our most likely one is Ixchampe for I, and my proposal is the possibility of Sanbika for S. So let me scroll back to the chat. I'm going to jump over to this screen here. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Scrolling back. Boom. Talking about Greed Island. Developers of Greed Island. How many people had to activate Postmortem Nen to make Greed Island magic work? Well, because Greed Island is a combination of so many different people, I would say that it wouldn't have to be post-mortem. Right? We've seen the power of Nen when Hulkenberg activates his ability, right? that is separate. I mean, it's tied to his Nen Beast, like, in a sense that he gained this ability so quickly, possibly because he has a Nen Beast, but that is not his Nen Beast's ability, the bow and arrow. And it's extremely strong. And that is because it combines multiple people. Did Razor help create, or is he just security? We talked about that. I think Razor is in charge of security and emission type spells, yep. Maybe Jing forced him to crunch during dev. Nice. Like the card that allows to heal any injury, that level Nen is inexplicable. But you have to keep in mind that this spell, this card or whatever, like one of the restrictions would be that it can only be used on this island, right? And there are restrictions in how that card can be gained. It can't be taken out of the game. Greed Island seems to be built on a ton of restrictions in order for the whole thing to function. Speaking of Sayu, do you believe Sayu is really working for Pariston? We'll keep those discussions till the end after I finish going through a lot of these topics. I want to stay a little more on topic for now. Breath of Archangel is far from being the most Nen costly card. There is a card that can let anyone become pregnant, even men. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff in there. If she's responsible for the healing spells, that must monopolize all her Nen. So wouldn't she be useless on the mission? Well, you can... This kind of ties into the next topic. But there are ways to imprint your Nen on things. And, like, your Nen comes back, right? Like, when an emitter shoots out an attack, they aren't... You know, that Nen doesn't just float back to them when it's done. They're exhausting that Nen, and it has to regenerate, right? Your, like, speed of production for Nen. So, I think with conjured abilities, you know, it could be... I have to look up all the details on that. But there could be ways that say Nen users are helping create it and they no longer stay in the game. But when you look at Razor, if he's responsible for a lot of the cards functioning... I mean, he still seemed pretty damn powerful when fighting as well, right? And he has a separate Hatsu than, you know, making cards work. So I would say that there's a way for someone to help with the building and development of Greed Island and the function of the cards and everything like that, and not have it always be draining their Nen. But we'll talk about that in a second. A little more, a tiny bit more, in one of the next topics. Sambika is a good candidate? I think so. I've had this written down for like years. There are cards that just create a big chunk of land. I highly don't think Jing let anyone die for his video game. Yeah. That's probably what the tape said, that he was made from a Greed Island card. Do you think if Greed Island and the Succession War use similar Nen programming to work, the entry and exit room for Greed Island and the death room in the Black Whale look super similar? I do. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. So actually, my man is skipping my message. What a Chad. I'm so sorry. Oh, I didn't skip your messages. Did I skip them earlier? Oh, this one. See, I thought you were replying to the discussion about Sayu and Pariston. So that's why I skipped over that one. So that's my bad. It has crazy strong condition, yeah. My bad, homie. Alright, so. Jing probably tried to test the card and didn't have any condition. Oh, we're still talking about that birthing stone thing. Alright, so because it got brought up a couple times, let's jump into the next topic. We're leaving Greed Island now. Let's hop on the boat over to two things. Move this up. Whoop. And this is what Abram was talking about. Do you think if Greed Island and the Succession War use similar NEN programming to work? So what I think is... So this is the part that I didn't put in order that I was rushing to do, like right before I started the stream, which is why I was late. So right now I'm just trying to find the right image because I actually didn't name any of these images that are in this area. Damn, did I not take a screenshot of that one? Okay, we're going to have to use the interwebs. Greed Island. Or actually, no, we have it up right here. Boom. Damn it. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, everybody. I'm grabbing an image. Actually, I think I have it. It is Greed Island. Chapter. Volume 13, Chapter 127. Volume 13, which I have right here. Chapter 127, which is on page... the very end of the book. There we go. Cool. So you can see these on screen right here. Right? Here we have the Dark Continent. This is the room that has to do with the Nen beasts, right? We see the king. Ooh, I busted. So we see this room that apparently has to do with the Succession War. I want to pop over here. We also see something similar in Greed Island. However, I think this is just Togashi's way of displaying, like, technology, in a sense. So this compared to this, right? Very straight lines, no curves or anything like that. Darting around all over the place. However, there are a couple other inscriptions, or at one point we see something called divine script, which I will pull up right now. Boom. So this is from Greed Island. And one of the hunters who, helps them with the final mission, the guy with the goatee who, like, dresses like an army dude. I believe his name begins with a G, and it's hard to pronounce. I have an image of him, and I will be pulling it up in a second. Oh, I think it's the last one. Sure is. Bam. We gotta shrink this image too. Dun, dun, dun. Shrink it on down. Shrink it on down. So when they're doing the boxing challenge, this dude's name, whatever his name is, the pattern on the ring, called Divine Script, serves to augment Nen. It took him hours of intense concentration to apply it, which means his teleportation only works inside this ring. So this Divine Script enhances his ability. Or it's a condition that he can only use it with this divine script. But apparently this is a known tactic, something other Nen users will know about, experienced Nen users, because this dude is a single-star hunter. I really need to find out what his name is, because that's driving me nuts. Yes. Cezagera. Yeah, that guy. Let's see what his spelling is. Oh, that is exactly how it is spelled. Tsetsugera. We're just gonna call him Gera. Whatever. Goatee Boy. That's his new name. So Goatee Boy over here. He's a single-star hunter, a jackpot hunter. He knows all about what's going on in this ring. There's another thing. So that he defines as the divine script. So what I want to ask you guys is, do you think this, or I guess the first thing I want to ask, looks similar to this? Because I would say no. And I don't think it looks similar to the Greed Island setup at all. So in my opinion, these two things, which is actually listed on hunterxhunterfandom.com or hunterxhunter.fandom.com as possibly part of this supposed inscription. I think this is just Togashi's way of showing like high-tech stuff, right? So let's ignore those two things. We're going to ignore Greed Island and we're going to ignore this room here. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that asset. Yes, remove the image. However, one thing that, or two other things that kind of look like these inscriptions is, nope. I'm grabbing the image, don't you worry. Jesus. Yeah, there it is. The thread that Wing places upon Gon's finger. So we know that when Gon applies 10, this will break. So when we go to the next image, after it eventually does break, Wing says, I tied it so it would break if you use Nen. It's a trick of my own Nen. So in a way, he is applying his Nen to this object, right? And that is what I was talking about with, say, Sanbika, where it was asked in the chat if, you know, wouldn't that absorb or take up so much of her Nen, monopolize her Nen, if her healing abilities were used as cards. But I think if they apply Nen to those cards in a similar way that Wing applies his Nen to this string that broke off Gon's finger right there, then it wouldn't really take up much of your Nen at all. Or you would recover that Nen while this is still here. In Killer 92, you're one step ahead of me, but you are correct. So this inscription, right, this one's hard to see close up. It's a bunch of squigglies. But then we jump over to... Nope. Nope. Again, the last one will be better, I swear. The last topic. Here we go. The inscription's here. A lot more detailed on here. This is part of the box that held, well, it was a box holding a box. But this is what kept Gon and Killua from popping open the box that was given to him by Aunt Mito, which was really from Jing. And the reason I took this screenshot, or an actual picture of my volume, there were similar markings on the thread wing tied on my finger. So we know this inscription is the same. Yeah, and he said he made it using Nen. Or he said he made it so using Nen would release it. Sounds like these markings have Nen-like powers. Yeah. Boom. So we have two instances where these markings do the same thing. And they are directly compared within the manga, where applying Nen will release them. Again, because we have this nice detailed image, I don't think that this pertains at all to the room in Greed Island or the room on the Black Whale that has to do with Nen beasts. So these two things are the same, this and the thread wing used, but very different inscriptions here. The other two things, and by the way, I am still using hunterhunter.fandom.com. They have 2 pages. One of them is under Divine Script, which describes the boxing ring, which is how I found the correct page to bring up, right? So one describes the boxing ring, and then the other is just, the other tab I have open is just called Inscription, and that's where it lists this Jing's box, wings, thread, the Greed Island room, which we already see looks completely different, and the mysterious room for the Nen beasts, which we all saw again, which looked very different. The other two things that this page compares it to is the handcuffs that are on Nov, which I will pull up in 2 seconds. Here we go. So, kind of hard to get a clear picture here. If we're comparing it to this, I would say they don't look very similar. I would say this looks more like Greed Island and the room that, what's it called? Greed Island and the Nen Beast room. So that's what is listed, and it says potentially, right? It says they bear a strong resemblance to this inscription. However, I disagree, because this has way more patterns, and this is just like a zoomed out image, or I'm sorry, a zoomed in image. You know, regular size, you can't really see this. So let's get rid of that one. It also references the handcuffs on Beyond. But again, here, it's like there's barely anything there. So we're going to not include those. We're going to get rid of Beyond's cuff. Delete. Remove. Bye. We're going to get rid of the cuff that Nov uses for his ability. Bye. So now it really comes down to this inscription, the thread on Wingson, and then determining if this ring possibly is connected as well, or is this a separate thing? Oh, I'm moving the wrong image again. There we go. Thank you, finally. Can we make this bigger? Ooh. Ooh. Someone mentioned the ring Yes, here we go. It's also on the ring inside the box, and Kilo said can be dangerous to use the ring or something similar. I actually didn't look at that part. You are correct. It is on the ring. And I can tell you what it says since I have the chapter right here. Let's see. What chapter was it again? That was chapter 13. Or I'm sorry, volume 13. Chapter 127, which is at the end. Maybe it is not in this chapter, but possibly a separate one. No, I think I got it. Almost there. Maybe not. Where does it say? The patterns on the entrance to Greed Island. Oh, it's actually volume 8. I'm dumb. Where's volume 8? I don't remember the ring at all. Well, that's possible. Let's see. It would be towards the beginning. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so they open up the box, a ring, a cassette tape, and memory card. Look, the same pattern inside the band. So, boom, he says, look, same pattern inside the band. And you could see the very detailed inscriptions there, or, you know, much easier to see than the thread. But yeah, you shouldn't just put it on yet. Why? You think Jing would try to mess with me? Just in case. So by applying your Nen to the ring, you know, it's partially how you get summoned. So basically, these inscriptions are a way to insert your Nen onto something. And then another activation of Nen is what triggers them. The question is, though, for this divine script, without this being zoomed in more, very hard to tell. But I believe they are related. Now, originally when I was looking into this, I was thinking of the possibility that maybe this is some sort of ancient script that only a few people know. If it's related to, if this boxing ring, this divine script, and this box, Greed Island, the ring for Greed Island, the box created to seal all that stuff, and the thread that Wing used, if they are all the same thing, I would say most likely not. Although, because Jing knows how to use it, is it possible that he taught this guy here how to use it? Or taught Razor how to use it? Since, obviously, this, because it's on the ring, it's what helped create Greed Island, or helped Greed Island function. Is it possible that Razor knows it and taught it to this guy to help him? The design on the ring is the saw as the binder or book to hold the card. Oh, is the same as the binder or book to hold the cards. I just put that volume down. Do you mean inside the ring or outside the ring? On the ring. So I was kind of thinking like, okay, if anybody knows about this scripture, this inscription thing, maybe it has to do because like Jing has been looking into the Dark Continent. Maybe it was in some documents he discovered. Then he possibly taught it to, you know, Razor and other people. But then like, how does Wing know about it? Right? Wing doesn't have a connection to Jing at all. And also, how does Goatee Boy know about it? He doesn't have a connection to Jing at all. This guy here. Zugera. He doesn't have any connection to Jing at all. So. Uh-oh. Phone call. My dad's calling. Hold on one sec. Hello? Hello. I am live streaming right now. I'm muted. But can I call you guys later?
Okay, never was able to get the fight.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Love you. Bye. Wait, did I never mute? I don't think I muted myself. Whoopsies. But anywho, always answer when your parents call. You know? Never know when it could be an emergency. So even though I'm busy, I always answer. You were not muted. Not muted. You ain't muted. Whoopsies. That was my bad. It's alright. Didn't say anything crazy. So, where were we? Honestly, I don't even know what to add to the Divine Script inscription discussion. I was just trying to piece all the stuff together and just based on looking at all of them together, kind of talk about how it was proposed on the fandom site, and then give my thoughts on it. But basically, it seems like an ability, not an ability, but it seems like a method to imprint your Nen onto things. And then whenever someone else's Nen touches it, you can create some sort of reaction. In the case of the box and the thread, it basically makes those things fall apart. Excuse me. In the case of the ring, it teleports you. So it can do different things, and it's totally possible that this inscription is the same exact thing as the divine script that Setsugeta describes that this boxer is using. I was originally thinking that it's a possibility that this, you know, kind of like, it's almost like an ancient language, right? That these hieroglyphics that could have possibly come from the Dark Continent, but I don't think so anymore. Which leads me into the next topic that will hopefully go much smoother than that discussion. And that is the Sonata of Darkness. So speaking of things that could have possibly come from the Dark Continent, I think it's possible that the Sonata of Darkness does. I took pictures of the volume because I want to give you the exact translation, or the official translation. So I'm looking for the Sonata of Darkness. Ooh, moving the wrong image again. God, I hate this. Here we go. It's supposedly composed by Satan, with solo parts for piano, violin, flute, and the harp. They say anyone who performs it or listens to it will be horribly cursed. Isn't it an urban myth? I can't imagine such a thing exists. Let's go to page 2. This part's very interesting. I heard the flute solo. One movement was enough to do this to me. Want to see an old picture of me? I actually forgot that she does show Kurapika a picture of her that we don't get to see. My friend who played it died. His whole body turned into this. His friend had taught him on the condition that he never try it. I got this ability in exchange, but I'd give it all back to be the way I was again. I don't want anyone else to suffer like I did. So because she says I got this ability in exchange, she hasn't been playing her instrument here. Believes she's only talking about, her hearing ability and like listening to somebody's heartbeat. I chose this job because I hoped one devil would know another. So, two things here of why I think it's possible the Sonata of Darkness could potentially have originated in the Dark Continent. Number one, when you look at the depiction as this devil, right? She says supposedly composed by Satan. Just the devilish depiction here compared to when those government V5 official people were talking about the Dark Continent. And they said that those journeys opened Pandora's box. And we see this image here of these people, this box, and this thing coming out of it. Simply put, on our challenge journey, we had unleashed upon us a calamity that wiped out all of humanity. V5 was tested behind closed doors after entering a pact. So, pretty sure I must have screenshotted an unofficial one. I think I have the official one. Let's see. I really don't like the wording there. Hold, please. Pandora's box. We had unleashed upon us a calamity that wiped out all of humanity. No, you did not wipe out all of humanity. Yeah, so another translation says, so every time we take up this challenge, we flee back carrying an extinction-level threat. The result of secret colonization efforts after the V5 Forum formed the treaty. So, I'm actually not 100% sure if that's the official translation because I might have mentioned on a previous stream that I let someone borrow my volumes. I actually ordered duplicates, but could not find volume 33 for a decent price. So, volume 33 is where this image resides, so I could not grab the official one. However, the point is, they're talking about calamities here. You've got this devilish depiction of them opening Pandora's box and releasing this calamity. When Melody talks about the creation of the Sonata of Darkness, we also have this freaky, devilish depiction. So that's one connection. The other would just be what Melody says on page 2. So when a lot of the calamities have these effects on people that kind of disfigure them, right? PAP kind of like shrivels up people. You have Aluka, who just straight up like squishes people or makes them like explode kind of thing. You have the zombie disease, which disfigured this guy, and he becomes immortal and eats flesh. And you have Brion, which looks like it just removed somebody's head, maybe. However, what a lot of these calamities have in common, or at least let's look at Aluka, right? Aluka is possessed by AI. She is now granted an ability because of the effects of I. Really, it's not like just Aluka, right? There is now like another personality in her, Nanika, which is the I. But she has this other ability. By listening to the Sonata of Darkness, well, one, for this person playing it, they died, they are disfigured. Melody is also now disfigured, but she was granted an ability. Which is why I think it could be on the level of a calamity. Imagine playing this in front of a bunch of people. Imagine playing multiple parts of it. Imagine if each part could give the listener a different ability. Or if it's just straight up used as a way to kill people. Just imagine a large crowd hearing this, right? So the effect of the Sonata of Darkness could be calamity level. I do see mention in the chat, the Sonata of Darkness, so from JJ, could be a form of post-mortem Nen that could explain its horrific effects on people. Yes, it's possible that maybe these things were written, these solos were written, and then after the person's death, they somehow, affected them. That's totally possible. I am not proposing this as 100% fact, right? Just kind of a thought of the possibility of Sonata of Darkness originating from the Dark Continent. We do know there are colonies there. You have the gatekeeper. You have the guide. Like, there are beings there that could have created this. So I'm not saying the Sonata of Darkness is a calamity. If I did say that, let me retract that. But I'm saying it is on the level of a calamity. So whatever is possibly creating these musical pieces could be the calamity. So the two things I'm comparing is the body disfiguration to all the other things we've seen happen with calamities. The granting of an ability or the change in a person, right, with Aluka and Nanika. The Hell Bell, gives you like this murderous intent. The zombie disease, like this person is not like immortal, but doesn't need like nourishment kind of thing. So it basically changes these people when they interact with a calamity. So we're disfigurement, the granting of an ability, and then just how it is described as supposedly composed by Satan, this depiction of this devilish creature. And then when we talk about the Dark Continent and the calamities there, we have another depiction of this devilish creature. It's kind of where I'm getting at there. But what are the calamities? Like, are they pure Nen or just weird animals? Well, we don't know that yet. We just don't know. It is unknown. So basically that was the topic of the week. Those 3 mysterious things in Hunter x Hunter. I wanted to go into a little more. Like, I have a big old list of things, but did not get time to research them all. One thing I guess I could just quickly mention is we also have Melody on the boat that is going to the Dark Continent. We also have Hanzo on that boat, who we know was after the Hermit Scroll. It is why he talked about it when he talks about becoming a hunter, of what he's after. And he mentions that this Hermit Scroll could be found in an island that is not accessible to normal people. Wait, how did it say Hellbell inflicts the murderous intent? If it's by sound, I believe it's by bite. Pretty sure it's by bite. Because it is like a two-headed snake thing, right? Is it two-headed snake? Or is it a snake with two tails? I forget. So anyways, here I am. So that was the first attempt of a topic of the week, which I hope you guys enjoyed. Open for discussion if you guys want to talk about any of these things in more detail. Is there a way to ask for a topic of the week topic for like next week? I have a few ideas already that I have written out. And, I called it topic of the week. I might not be able to stream every week. I would have liked to prepare a little more for this one, The Divine Script one was pretty sloppy, which is why I saved Sonata of Darkness for last, because that was the one I liked the most. And Greed Island, that wasn't a bad discussion either. I think I made a few points about Sambica. And at least the Divine Script topic helps us understand how Greed Island functions, right? So that ties a little bit together, but you could see how it's like, okay, I have all these ideas or topics, things I want to talk about, because not everything that I talked about here was created by me. Like I said, a lot of it from the hunterxhunter.fandom.com. But writing out a script for all this would take way too long, in my opinion. So if you want to submit a topic, like I have ideas already, you could just throw them in the comments, like of the video. That's probably the best thing. Or you could just message me on Twitter. My DMs are open. I have to accept your message, but I have accepted every message. So probably the best way that it won't get lost, among other things, is if you DM me on Twitter. And that's at @Tails_of_Nerdia. Gotta have those 2 underscores in there. Someone else took just plain ass Tales of Nerdia. Family Guy, I still remember your theory about Hisoka and Hellbell. I actually said that one. I have that written down. I have a page of joke theories and parody theories. And I was planning on talking about that. But I guess I did say it before. I used to drink during the streams more often. So my memory's a little foggy. But the theory with the Hellbell is that the reason Hisoka is all murdery and is all, swinging all the time, is because the Hellbell, which inflicts murderous intent within you, bit him in his private parts. What's up, Larry Rock? Like the backdrop? Yeah, we got them Hunter x Hunter stuff going on in the back. Well, and my messy bed right there. Just ignore that part. What if Sonata effect depending on mood? They were drunk. Indeed. Right? Could be the closer you are to the sound, the worse the effect is. JC Nenton, that's correct. The Hellbell bit Hisoka in the privates. So it could be, the distance that someone is, like how well they hear it, which is why obviously the person playing it, the biggest effect is on them. Obviously how much you hear of it affects you, because Melody mentions that, it only took one not one note. What did she say? One measure or something like that? And each different solo, she heard the flute solo, each solo could have a different effect. It could even be that maybe one of these solos has a positive effect. Ooh. What if one of the solos has a positive effect that can somehow reverse the effects of others? Granted, it's the Sonata of Darkness. It's not the Sonata of Darkness and a little bit of light. But it's possible that one of these pieces could reverse the effects of the others, right? Someone also mentioned the fourth prince. Fourth Prince Nenbeast have things related to his collection, like Pyro's head. And what happened to Theta can be related to the Dark Sonata. So we have also one of them. Oh, because of the way that it, like, mutated her face. Right. I see what you're saying there. But the other thing that someone mentioned about the Fourth Prince is that, you know, with his love of art, is it possible that he may have a piece or two of the Dark Sonata? Maybe the other three pieces of the Dark Sonata? Yeah, with his love of art and his collecting, I mean, he's collecting the Kurta eyes, it is possible that we don't even have to wait for the Dark Continent to see more about the Sonata of Darkness. It could be that we encounter it with the Fourth Prince. He is also one of the people that invited Melody, sent her an invitation after her performance on the boat. We don't know who the other two are. She is being protected for now by Glasses-kun, but we don't know if Glasses-kun is... or we know that he's protecting her, but we don't know if she will have to respond to those other two requests. We don't know who they're coming from. It's hard to determine what's going on. I guess we could eliminate Benjamin and Camilla, right? Since they're kind of like being restrained right now in that separate area. So it probably didn't come from them. I could imagine Zhang. I could imagine him wanting to know more about what happened. I mean, but that's a topic for another day. Do you think Leorio will be incorporated in the Succession War arc at some point? Yes, absolutely. I do. I just think it's not his time yet, right? However, we are working our way up with the Phantom Troop. They're moving on up. I forgot what level Leorio is on. I think he's on the 3rd. But the Mafia members and Phantom Troop are working their way up, looking for Hisoka. So it is possible that they will encounter Leorio soon, and we will see a little bit more of him, which I would love. I want the Fourth Prince to have the Kurta's eyes implanted so he can be even more stronger. We Uchiha now? Nice. Yeah, I don't know if that would be possible in this world, in the Hunter x Hunter world. And have Melody teach him the Dark Sonata. Well, I don't know if she knows it, really. Because she says her friend's friend taught it to her. Taught it to her friend. But then she just heard a piece of it. So she only knows a tiny bit of it. If she remembers it at all. Yeah, Leorio ain't gonna die. Come on now. He ain't gonna die. No way. So here's what I'd like for you guys to do. If you don't mind. Send me some feedback in the comments section of this once I end the stream. I have ideas. There's things I want to do as far as the format. Obviously, I'd like to prepare a little more. This was a test run. I'd like to edit these later on down the road. I might have to do this one over. Not do it over, like actually live stream it and pretend I'm doing it for the first time. But, you know, editing out a bunch of nonsense that I was talking. But this is kind of what I'd like to do going forward with a little bit more prep. I just did not anticipate how long it would take me to build out everything in, what's this called? Streamlabs. OBS. So, some things will be theory videos in this format, you know, popping up the evidence and stuff like this, you know. Ooh, why was my Twitter up? Oh, because I have it in the same window as this. But, you know, switching between these things and showing you my thoughts and the evidence. Whoops, switched the wrong thing for a second. But that's kind of the format I'm intending to use going forward, unless I feel very strongly about a topic and feel like it needs to be treated a little more delicately with a script written out. But for now, it's just kind of like, I just want to jump online and start talking. How many Phantom Troop members do you think Hisoka will kill? I would say there might be like, I mean, he's gonna get a few of them, definitely. I'm out of drink. Like, he's gonna get at least a few more. Do I think he's gonna kill every single one of them? No. Do I think they're gonna kill him? No. I sure don't. Do I think Kurapika is going to get involved? I sure do. I sure do. Who knows if that was the original idea, original Togashi idea that Kishimoto also took inspiration. Was already used in Yu Yu Hakusho for Hiei? Oh, with the Jugon Eye. Yeah. Oh, you right. That's true. I mean, definitely Kurapika was created before Naruto, right? I'm pretty sure. Think the Dark Continent is the last arc of Hunter x Hunter? Yeah, like in a sense where, like, there could be something that rolls, like, the Dark Continent rolls into something else. Oh, right, I forgot Illumini and Kaluto. Like, I mean, I could see, I don't think Kaluto will die. Yeah, that's a no from me on Kaluto. Unless it is revealed that Kaluto is, a little more disturbed than we thought. Like, she's trying to get stronger, and from what we know, she wants Killua back. Unless she was when she said, I want my brother back, or I'm trying to get my brother back. Yeah, I mean, she was talking about Killua. So, he was talking about Killua. My bad, Kaluto. My bad. Kaluto wants his brother back. What are the limits of Hisoka's Nen after death? He can't be immortal now? That's an interesting discussion that I would like to do in a separate topic. Because, also, love the icon. Or am I stupid? I'm thinking of Guts and Berserk. Some people say that his Nen after death was like the revival piece, and now that he is alive again, his Nen is not stronger. Some people say, if you look at it on a timeline, here is where he died, therefore, his Nen after death is now stronger. We'll get into that another time. Kaluto is probably the most normal out of the Zoldycks. A little bit. He, hangs on to his mama. But then again, when we first saw him, he was pretty young. But definitely closer to normal than a lot of the other ones we've seen. But I tell you what, guys. This ran a little bit longer than I anticipated. I'm going to try and make things cleaner next time, smoother, maybe write out a tiny bit more of my points so that my thoughts are more fluid. I'm going to end the stream now. I'm going to take a little break, like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes or something. I got to hydrate, use the restroom, and then I'm going to jump over to Twitch. If you guys want to continue talking about Hunter x Hunter, I am totally down to do that as I play some Yakuza 0. Let's aim for, right now it is 6:37. I'm going to jump on Twitch around 7 o'clock. So if you guys want to jump over there, twitch.tv/Tales of Nerdia. I'll throw the link in the chat. Let's continue discussing over there. Copy, because I want to get some Twitch streams in. And I want to do that most of the week. Like I said, if you can, please jump down to the comments section once this is over. Give me some feedback. If I didn't get to read some of your comments about the topic, go ahead and leave them in the comments too, but also just the feedback on the format and how things went today. Obviously, I know there's room for improvement, but give me your thoughts. All right, y'all. I'm going to jump out of here. I know we got lots going on in the chat, but I need a break. My mouth is dry. I got little spit bubbles on my lip. All right, y'all. Totally appreciate all stopping by. We had a little over 50 people watching at one point, which is dope. All right. If all you care about is Hunter x Hunter, I'll see you next week, most likely. If you want to watch me play some games in about 22 minutes, I'll see you at Twitch. Bye!